Hello, I'm Mary Glenn, Coordinator of Stonington Toy Library in Malvern, which is in the state of Victoria in Australia. This DVD is an educational talk that we give to new parents groups from the maternal and child health centres in the area. Okay, so welcome to the Toy Library, everybody. My name is Mary, I'm the coordinator here. I just want to talk about why we've got you here today. The purpose of today is to show you what the Toy Library looks like so that if you want to come to join in the future, you know what to expect. It's not about getting you all to join the Toy Library today. That's not what this is about. Okay, so what I want to run through today is first of all, why we have a Toy Library. Second, I want to talk about how it all works. And third, I want to go through child development, what your children are going to be doing from now for the next, well, say until they're about 12 months old. So we might start by talking about our goals. So why do we have a toy library? Well, we have a toy library because play is really good for children. It's how they learn. And if you were to go out and buy everything you need for your children to learn at each stage of their development, it would cost you a lot of money. And where would you put it all anyway? All right. So a toy library, the idea of a toy library is to make it possible for you to have exactly the right toy at each stage of your child's development. Okay, and why do they need toys? To learn. Why is play good for them? Because they've done a lot of studies in the last 10 years, and the studies have proved that children who play more as little children, when they go to school, they find it a lot easier to learn. All right, play is actually really good for their brain development when they're very young, so it is very important that they play. You might like to pop the balls down and lie your children down so that they can look at them on their sides. If you put that on their side like that, you'll find that they look to the side. Pull your child down just a little bit. And I'll talk about this play in a minute, but if you leave it there, that's it. Your child might look at it and swipe at it like that. That's it. Okay, and this is good too. All right, so we're wanting your children to learn. So the main reason that we exist is to encourage you to play with your children for as long as possible every day, all right? We're open on Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays from 9 till 12 and 1 till 3 on Friday afternoons. And during those times, my job is to help people choose appropriate toys for their children. And when I'm doing that, quite often those parents will talk to me about issues that are totally unrelated to toys or play. They might be crying when they talk to me about something that's going on at home. So I need to be as supportive as I can. So our second goal is all about being supportive for anything at all. Right? Parenting is probably the hardest thing we ever do in our lives. How much training did you all get for it? None, I guess. So that's why it's hard, because you're all first-time parents and you're all facing this at the same time. It's really good for you to have your new parents group because you can be supportive to each other going through these things at the same time. But we try to be as supportive as we can too. Sometimes when a parent's crying on my shoulder, it will be because they've got a problem that's not easy to solve. And that, in those cases, I would always refer them to someone else to talk about their problem. Our third goal is about trying to help everyone in our community. There are lots of people from different cultures in our community. Our membership, by the way, is limited to families who live in Stonington. So there are lots of different cultures in our community, and there are lots of people, a lot of people have a different amount of money in our community as well. So some people have lots of money, some people don't have very much at all. We want to help everyone. So if someone comes in and they're from another culture, and they've just arrived in Stonington, we would always talk to them about, do they know where their local playgroup is? Do they know about story time at the library? Do they know any other families who've got children the same age? So we could put them in touch with other people if they don't know anyone. The idea is that we help them to feel connected. If they don't speak English, then we would introduce them to the English classes as well. For someone who doesn't have very much money, well, we're going to help them. Our toy library is located in middle-class Malvern, if you like, and so lots of families here have had 2, 3, 4 children, and they maybe have a lot of baby equipment that they don't need anymore. So they might have a high chair, for example. We have another branch at Paran. We have this branch, by the way, where we have 850 or so children using our toy library. But we have another branch at Paran where we only have 30 children using the toy library. And those 30 children, most of them live in the Housing Commission flats. And we don't charge them any fees to use the toy library. So with those children, sometimes the health nurse who I work with, who's the outreach health nurse, she might say to me, Mary, I need a high chair for a family. And so I'll put a note on the door here in our toy library and I'll be given 6 high chairs. And so I then take them down and give them to the families who can't afford to buy them. And we do that with clothes as well. We have a recycle room and we do it with toys as well, so that sometimes we actually give them toys rather than getting them to borrow them from the toy library, because some people find it really difficult to do that. So we help disadvantaged families, if you like, as much as we can as well. So that sort of gives you an overview of what we do. It is more than just a place where you go in and grab a couple of toys every few weeks. For some people, you may never use the other services that we offer, but you may do. So now I want to talk about how it works. Okay, so our toy library is owned by the families who use it. It's not owned by the council. Council's role is to give us this beautiful building rent-free, which saves us about $19,000 every year. That's the rental waiver. We also get a community grant from council, which is for $36,000. We're a large toy library. We have over 500 families using our toy library, and we're probably one of the largest in Victoria. So our grant is very high, $36,000 a year. And that sounds like a lot of money, but actually, when we work out how much it costs to run our toy library, it's $112,000 in cash terms and $200,000 when we include all of the volunteer hours that are put in to run the toy library. So if you look at it costing $200,000 a year to run our toy library, and council gives us a total of 36 plus 19, that's 55. We'd perhaps like their contribution to be a little more. We do get also a little funding from the Bendigo Bank, but the majority of our funding comes from you, the parents who pay fees to join. You also do some fundraising and you also come to work here. So I'll go through what we need you to do if you join. So first of all, you pay a fee. The fee to join is $70 for one child for 12 months membership. So your membership starts from the date you join, no matter when that is. Right, so if you have a concession card, we offer you half price, that's $35. And if it's hard for you to find that money in one go, you can pay by instalments. You just have to tell me about that privately. If it's hard for you to find any money at all, you definitely need to tell me about that very privately. And we could offer you free membership, perhaps. We do offer some free memberships, about 20 free memberships a year to families who just can't afford anything at the moment. Now, as well as paying a fee, every family has to come to work here for 4 hours in every year that they're a member. And that work involves sitting at the computers in the desk area over there, and you're checking the toys in and out when the parents come back to the toy library. You're always working with someone, and I'm always here and I train you in what to do, so it's quite easy. And you get to see all the toys, so it's really good. So, for families who can't come to work here, you can pay $15 an hour instead of coming. So we do that reluctantly. We don't want you to take that option. Obviously, we want you to come to work here because that way we get to know you a lot better and you get to know us and you get to know our systems a lot better. But if you can't, then you can pay instead. But it's $15 an hour, so that's another $60 on top of your membership fee, which is quite a lot of money. The other thing, and the roster, by the way, is that yellow board over there on the wall. So as well as paying a fee and doing some 4 hours of work for us, every family has to do $25 worth of fundraising every year. We've made it $25 because that's how much money we need. All right, so we help you to raise that money by organising a cake stall. So you could bake some cakes for us if you like. Our cake stall is next Saturday week. And if you chose to do that, you might choose to bake a cake. That might raise $10. You might choose to bake 2 cakes, make $20 or $25. Or you might hate baking cakes, or nobody might want to eat your cakes. So you might decide, okay, I'll do the raffle instead in July. Okay, so that's selling raffle tickets. They're $2 each, and the first prize is a weekend away at a really flash hotel. So you might decide that's a much better way to go. Or you might want to buy the tickets yourself. Some people do that. The third option for raising your fundraising money is to just give us the $25. Of course, you can do that as well. So, just to recap, the fees are $70 for one child. If you had twins, by the way, it would be $105. There is a discount for 2. So $70 for one child, 4 hours of work, and $25 worth of fundraising. All right? And for that, you get to borrow 2 toys each time you come. So one can be from anywhere in the room and could be something like the ones you're playing with now. And the other one has to come from that end of the room. That end of the room has puzzles and games. Your children aren't ready for those yet. That's for older children. But it could be a second baby toy. So you might borrow a really good baby toy like this one, and then you might borrow another one like one of these, for example. Let me see. You might borrow this as your second baby toy. These are busy rings. They're really good, one of the best toys ever made. All right, so you could borrow this and this each time you come. And you get to keep them for up to 3 weeks at a time. Now, I guess there's one sentence I want you to remember from today. If you forget everything else, I don't mind. But this sentence is really important. Most toys that most children play with, they get tired of after about 3 days. Shall I repeat that? Most toys that children play with, they get tired after 3 days. All right? So why would you buy them? Why would you buy them? This one's pretty good though. Maybe it would last a bit longer than 3 days. All right, so you can keep them for 3 weeks. So we encourage you to come weekly, don't we? Obviously, you're going to get 2 new toys every week. It would be really good. Just say you kept your toys for more than 3 weeks. Say you kept them for 4 weeks. I would always have to ask you why you were late when you came back if you did that. Now just say your toy came in a bag that had a white label and you said to me, I'm late because my child was sick. Then there would be no charge. But if you said, I'm late because I went away on holiday to Queensland and completely forgot I had the toys, that's different. So we charge you 50 cents for each item that's a week late coming back. So there would be $1 charge. You'd have 2 items. And it used to be the same for everything until someone returned a really big toy like that one over there and said to me, it was worth keeping this toy for another week and only having to pay you a 50 cents overdue charge. Isn't that terrible? So it was really selfish. So we decided, okay, let's put pink labels on popular toys. And then if someone returns a pink labeled toy late, there's an automatic $5 charge for that toy alone. And so that's what we do now. And that works really well. It gets them back on time and people aren't so selfish. So if you have a pink labeled toy and you have a sick child at home, then you need to ring me by 3 o'clock on the Friday and I'll come to your home and collect the toy and bring it into the Saturday session so another family can borrow it. And you don't have to pay the $5 charge. The other thing we had to do with the pink toys, the popular ones, was we had to put limits on the number of times you could borrow them each year to make it fair. So most of them you can have once every 3 months. Some of them you can only have once a year because they're really big and beautiful. But that has worked really well as well. So you can have a different pink toy each time you come. You just can't have the same one that you had last time. Is that clear? Do you understand that? Good. Okay. Now, one of the things that will happen when you use a toy library is you will lose pieces of things. Just imagine that you were borrowing this toy, all right? So this one has lots of pieces and they're balls and they roll under fridges and things, don't they? All right, so imagine that you took this home. The chances of you're coming back without a piece are really high. Okay, I actually joined this toy library in 1981, and I used to lose pieces all the time, right? So you're going to lose pieces. It's a normal, natural part of life in a toy library. So we don't want you worrying about it. When you lose a piece, we don't want you searching in your house for 3 hours looking for that toy library piece, okay? You look for 5 minutes, and if you can't find it, come back and tell us you can't find it, and you pay $1, and that $1's refunded when you find the piece and bring it back. And normally, the next time you come back in with the piece. I've got spares of most things out the back, all right? So normally I would just replace the piece and put it back into the toy library. So if you did spend 3 hours every week looking for a toy library piece, what would happen? You'd come back in a couple of months and you'd say to me, I don't want to do this, Mary, it's all too hard, all right? So we don't want that to happen. Just remember, it's a normal, natural part of life. It's going to happen to you, and not to worry about it. Another thing that might go wrong is that you might break something. Breakages happen in toy libraries too, because the toy might be old, or it might be really badly designed. So we don't charge for those things, but just say you trod on a cup out of a tea set, for example, and broke it, then we would charge you $1 for that sort of breakage. There's one thing I haven't talked about yet about how we operate that might be the most important thing in a toy library. I wonder if you can think about what it is. Do you know what it is that I haven't talked about yet? Something about how we operate?
Cleaning.
Cleaning, that's right, cleaning. So how do we deal with it? Well, first of all, obviously the toys have to be clean. We can't run a toy library with dirty toys. It wouldn't work. So everyone has to clean them before they bring them back to us. And I need to talk to you all about what I mean by cleaning, because some people have different standards in cleaning. So for example, if you were cleaning a toy that looked like this, you would need to immerse this in hot soapy water, and you'd need to have a little bit of disinfectant in the water as well. You'd need to get yourself an old toothbrush so that you could get around the nooks and crannies and give it a really good clean everywhere. And then you might be able to rinse it under the hot tap. Maybe you're cleaning all of your toys at home all together, so you're not wasting any water, okay? Because we have to be careful about that these days. But if you can rinse off chemicals, that's a really good idea as well. So give it a really good clean, and rinse it, and then leave it to drain dry. If you've used hot water, it will dry really well. Otherwise, a nice clean tea towel. When you return your toys to the toy library, the person who's doing roster duty will have been trained by me to count the pieces of your toy to make sure it's all there, and to have a really good look at it to make sure that it's been washed. So you need to make sure it's clean when it comes back. Now, because you've all got children who are under 12 months, you're probably worried like my husband was when I joined the toy library. He said, I don't think I want Ali playing with those toys. She'll get germs. And I'm sure some of you are thinking that now. So they're not going to get germs from the toy library because you're going to clean the toys yourself, aren't you? So if you've got a child under 12 months, we recommend that you disinfect the toys before you give them to your child. And that way you've done it yourself. You're totally comfortable with the fact that they're clean. I'm totally comfortable that you're not going to get germs from our toy library as well, because our toys are clean, but you need to be comfortable too. All right, so that's enough about how the toy library works. Now I want to go on to their play. This is the best bit, okay? So let me talk about what they're doing at the moment. They're all at the stage where they're lying under frames, I think. These are activity gyms, what we call activity gyms. And they all seem to be at the stage where they're enjoying lying under those. When you're using your gym at home, don't always have it so that their hands are playing with the things. Sometimes, see this little one kicking here, we need those feet kicking the pieces sometimes, okay? So sometimes position the gym so that your child is actually kicking. I might not be able to do this because there are a few children here, but this little one wants to kick, so might be able to kick that to make it do that, see? And sometimes you might even be able to turn it on its side and give them a different view of it entirely. All right, that would be a totally different view of it, wouldn't it? And we'll be kicking this one while we're playing with this one with our hands there, see? Right, now how many of you have got gyms at home of some description? Who hasn't got a gym at home, maybe I'll ask. Put up your hand if you haven't got a gym at home. You all have. Okay. How long have your children been playing with the gyms that you have at home? For very long, probably since they were a few weeks old, maybe, because you've all got new babies and you were all given them, and so you wanted to play with them straight away. Okay, do you think your children might be a bit bored with anything that's on the gym at home at the moment? Yes? Okay, definitely. All right. So what can you do with your gym to make it more exciting at home? Well, you could make some things, couldn't you, to hang on it? You could take everything off it and make something. I actually prepared something earlier for today, so I'll just go and get what I prepared so that you can see some of the things. So, imagine you've got your gym at home and you've taken everything off, and these are just some of the things that you could hang on to your gym to make it better. You don't need commercial toys to be able to play with children, do you? These are the measuring spoons from the kitchen. Okay, this is the ribbon. All right, this was when I had my mince pies, and I saved these. They're lovely, they clatter, all right, just as these do. What's this one? An old sock, all right. We lost the other one, but this one looks quite good. It's quite colourful, so you could just hang that up. This is cellophane, just normal cellophane paper. Lovely and scrunchy, isn't it? Like that one? Okay, so don't you think that some of the children might like those things? Even more, perhaps, than some of the other things, the commercial ones, don't you think? There are some other ideas too. When you finished your cornflakes, why don't you cut out some of the cardboard and draw a face on the cardboard, right? Or you could cover it in silver foil and do something like this. You could put photographs up here. All right, so the idea is, remember, they're going to be tired of it very quickly, so change things